Welcome to the School of the Lost Tribes. For the chosen of the Most High, who need to study to show themselves approved unto the Messiah, sign up at schooloftheLostTribes.teachable.com. Explanation of ruddy cows, not bright red, but earth-toned. The term ruddy, when applied to animals such as cows, refers not to a bright or fire engine red, but to a natural, earthy, reddish-brown coloration. Ruddy cows display various shades of brown that are infused with subtle undertones of red, giving them a warm, vibrant appearance. This coloration resembles the rich tones of sun-baked clay or fertile soil, not the artificial or vivid red we might associate with modern color names. In agricultural and biblical contexts, ruddy livestock, especially ruddy cows, were often prized for their health and vitality, as their hue suggested they were well-nourished, strong, and raised in good conditions. The red component in ruddy gives the brown coat a distinct warmth and glow, but it never reaches the intensity of a pure red. This tone exists on a spectrum, from deep chestnut and burnt sienna to lighter cinnamon hues. The richness of the color reflects robustness in life, aligning with the word's biblical and pastoral roots. For instance, in the Hebrew context, the word Adam, related to Adamah, meaning earth, captures this idea of earthy, reddish-brown tones, not flashy or unnatural red. So when scripture or traditional usage refers to a ruddy cow, it is not describing a red animal, but one whose coat is a warm, earthy blend of red and brown, just as the term is used for people like David, a visual that reflects natural vitality, earth connection, and strength. Cultural and literary understanding. In literature and art, ruddy is tied to warmth and life. In classic works, ruddy cheeks often symbolize youth, vigor, and wholesomeness. In paintings, ruddy tones bring warmth and emotional resonance, especially in human portraits or pastoral scenes. It was the antithesis of pallor, which often symbolized sickness, fear, or death. Etymology and language roots. Old English, rudig, red or reddish. Proto-Germanic, ruth, red Hebrew, admoni, from the root Adam, connected with Adamah, meaning earth or ground. This deep-rooted connection reinforces the idea of earth-born, fleshly, vibrant life. This is fitting, as Adam, the first man, was formed from the Adamah, the reddish-brown soil. Biblical usage and symbolism. The Hebrew word admoni, is translated as ruddy in several key scriptures, especially in relation to King David. 1 Samuel 16:12. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. 1 Samuel 17:42. Goliath seized David and disdained him, for he was but a youth, and ruddy, and of a fair countenance. Song of Solomon 5:10. My beloved is white and ruddy, the chiefest among 10,000. Lamentations 4:7. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. Their polishing was of sapphire. Their visage is blacker than a coal. A contrast showing how far they've fallen. Earlier, they were ruddy in appearance. In these contexts, ruddy implies a natural beauty and robust health. For David, being described as ruddy set him apart visually. He was marked with a vivid, living color that embodied vitality, youthfulness, and a strong, earthy identity. It's notable that in ancient times, such descriptions were deeply racial and ethnic markers, not just cosmetic attributes. First Samuel 17:42. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him. Goliath's disdain for David, a deeper understanding. Goliath, the giant warrior from Gath, is described in Scripture as a descendant of the Rephaim, who were among the remnants of the Anakim, a lineage rooted in Canaanite tribes, which trace back to Ham, one of the sons of Noah. Ham's sons included Canaan, Cush, Mizraim, and Put, from whom came various ancient African and Near Eastern peoples, Genesis 10:6. Goliath's physical might and stature reflect the fierce warrior-class heritage often attributed to these ancient tribes. 1 Samuel 17:42. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him. The word disdained in this verse is crucial. Disdain, verb, to look upon someone or something with scorn, contempt, or consider it beneath notice or unworthy of respect. Goliath, a seasoned and battle-hardened champion, expected a worthy opponent, another warrior of stature and experience, one who bore the marks of warfare, scars, armor, and a hardened countenance. Instead, he was confronted by a youth, ruddy and of a fair countenance. 1 Samuel 17:42, meaning David had a fresh, healthy, reddish-brown complexion, unmarked by the wear of combat, with the look of a young, vibrant shepherd rather than a soldier. From Goliath's perspective, this was an insult. He wanted a true battle, not what seemed like a child's game. His scorn was born out of his pride, reputation, and the public nature of the challenge. To him, Israel's choice to send David appeared laughable, almost like mockery. But what Goliath failed to perceive was the power behind David, the spirit of Yah, which had already anointed David as king and empowered him for battle. Goliath misjudged based on outward appearance, unable to discern the strength of David's calling. Summary: Goliath, a descendant of Ham through the Canaanite lineage, stood as a fierce, physically imposing warrior. When he disdained David, it was not merely about David's youth, but what he symbolized: a boy with no armor, no scars, and a ruddy, fresh-faced appearance, standing where Goliath expected a true veteran of war. His contempt came from both cultural arrogance and pride in strength, yet his underestimation of David proved to be his undoing.